Welcome to TMC Connect. We're going to let everybody come in and then we'll get started. Thank you so much for being here. Good afternoon and welcome to TMC Connect. I am Tony Bramley, Business Development Coordinator here at TMC, and with me today is Brad Ketcher. Hello, Brad.
Hello, Tony. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing well,
Vice
thanks.
President at Ignite Integrated Solutions. That's what I get for trying to read your screen. We're so thankful that you're here today. Brad is going to talk us through reducing cycle times with innovation. So I am excited that you're here. Just some housekeeping rules. Everyone has joined on mute, but we want you to engage. So please use your chat function and the Q&A in order to ask your questions, and we will address those as we go. Also want to let you know that there'll be a follow-up email that comes out tomorrow. It'll have a link to the video for the YouTube recording that we're doing, as well as some bullet points. So please take a look at that, and Brad's contact information will also be included in that email. Appreciate you guys being here, and I am going to turn it over to Mr. Ketcher.
Great. Thank you, Tony. Thank you, everybody, for being on today's webinar. Really appreciate your time and your interest. And you can see my contacts right here. Sorry for my face. It just seems like it's been an ongoing theme for so many years. But that's my information. If you want to reach out after today's webinar, feel free. And I could provide a one-on-one demonstration or with your colleagues of our solutions. And today we're just going through two different solutions, our condition automation and our auto roll assignment. So just to kind of rewind just a little bit. So Ignite Integrations was founded in 2013. We are a technology company focused on the residential mortgage industry. Most of our engagements are with the Encompass loan origination system, and we really focus on automation, better workflows, greater visibility within the loan file, and then for data and documents going in or out of the system. So in essence, vendor integrations is one of our core competencies, and we try to make Encompass a system of record. So let's see, Ignite is a team of mortgage professionals, me included. I've been in capital markets twice, head of processing. I was a loan officer back in the day. And I'm just one of many employees here at Ignite with mortgage professional experience. We'll talk to you, we'll hear what you're looking to accomplish, and then we have full-time, all domestic software developers that can create solutions that you're looking for. So we could understand, and we've been in the seats that you're currently in, experiencing the issues that you're currently facing, and we really try our hardest to find the most well-rounded solutions for you and for your company. So with that, here, let's see. I'm going to demonstrate two tools. I was saying this beforehand, and it's going to be a live demonstration. I'm going to create a brand new loan, no tricks up my sleeve. The condition automation solution. We have two ways of conditioning a loan. One is with no clicks, like truly when the user clicks save, it interrogates the loan. The other way is for a person to manage and apply conditions when they're ready for it. It really helps out with fast pre-qualifications when necessary. So if you need somebody that's looking to buy a house or something in that regards, and pre-quals take a decent amount of time. I don't know what the pull-through is, maybe around like 20% or so. And the things that we could really help speed up from that perspective. Also bring a loan from loan officer straight to underwriting and workflows. Auto roll assignment. You can assign any person at any time for any reason, and that is the truth. So let me, without further ado, let me go to our Encompass environment. So this is Ignite's Compass environment. Okay, so I'm currently in the prospects folder, and I'm going to start a brand new loan. So here we are. I'm going to make this an FHA loan, select template. And while I'm loading up, so I will say that all fields in your environment can be used for condition logic, okay, except for virtual fields, but all field IDs. So the fields do not have to be in a reporting database, big plus. So I'll say first name is Brad, and then last name will be, I'll say demonstration. And I'm going to just kind of set up this loan a little bit. So by saying that this person is separated, which I sorry to start off with that, but the concept is for our application to look at field IDs, see if it meets certain criteria, and then apply the condition. Here I am looking for that. For citizenship, I could say if they are a US citizen or not. And here, let's just jump into this hyperlink. I could say that they're permanent resident alien. In terms of income, I could go into, let's see. And this is really just staging a loan just to show you how it's working. So, and then if I go into page 4 about the appraisal, I could go into, let's see, base loan amount. So I'll make this a jumbo loan and then start from there. In terms of conditions, since this is a brand new loan, here's our E folder. So there's nothing in preliminary conditions. There's nothing in underwriting conditions, right? It's a brand new loan. And here, let me just put an email address because I know it's going to ask for that very quickly. So let's see.
Hey, Brad, real quick before you go any further, there may be some folks on the line that are not familiar with Ignite. So, like, what's y'all's focus? What is it that you are focused on creating for lenders?
Sure. So our focus is really just to kind of round out the corners, bring as much automation as possible. I'll say well over 90% of our integrations are with Encompass. And we've worked a little bit with LendingQB and one other LOS, but for the most part, we're really focused on Encompass, trying to round the corners and limit the amount of clicks. I was at a conference and one person had said, try to convert people to data managers versus data gatherers. And my goodness, that has stuck with me ever since. And that really is so true, because instead of aggregating the data and spending your time kind of like in the weeds, instead, if you kind of really monitor it, I found it way better.
Excellent, thanks. Thanks,
absolutely. So I'm just going to click save, and then from here, then I'm going to rewind and show you how you could build rules. But from that perspective, so as a loan goes from loan officer to processor and then to underwriting, which is kind of like the normal course of action, the processor is really just looking at field IDs. Let's look at the marital status. If they are divorced, then I need a divorce decree and child support. If they are not a US citizen, then I need proof of residency. So there's so many different things that the underwriter I've found will not accept the processor's view on the appraisal and income, and everything else is pretty much just field IDs. So here, let me jump into the E folder, go into preliminary conditions, and these are conditions that have happened automatically. All I did is click save, and I will say you witness that. It's an FHA loan, so we need these FHA criteria. I put this person as being separated, so now we need childcare, and then we need divorce decree. I put them as not as U.S. citizens, so need and in terms of appraisal, so the loan amount's greater than $1, so we needed certain action points. Second appraisal because it's a jumbo loan. So all of this happened because I conditioned the loan. Now, I'm sorry. So in terms of underwriting conditions, currently I have 0, but if I wanted to, I could right click, add new conditions, go into the preliminary conditions, which I've just created automatically. And then here are my conditions that I could hit control, or I could use the shift key and then bring them over. So I bring that up because loan officers generally don't have the capability of creating or managing conditions in the underwriting section, but they can in preliminary. So that's where I'm saying that you could actually stage the loan in the beginning and then bring over the conditions to underwriting when it's ready. So rewinding, here is the user interface that only the Encompass admin would have capabilities of. And this is our condition manager. At this moment, so I'm showing, so there are 3 different folders in the condition folders in the E folder. So you can have preliminary conditions, regular conditions like underwriting conditions, and post-closing. So what I've done is I've kind of pre-named them. So for preliminary conditions, I made them automatic. versus for underwriting conditions, I put reg, which is kind of like regular method or manual method. So right here, there is a drop-down menu. So I could have the underwriter say, I want to reapply conditions. So at this moment, I'm just going to create one condition for you. So this way you kind of have a good idea how it works. And let's see, so I am going to say it's for condominiums. Okay, so condo, and we allow for 2 different spots. So I'll say, and actually, let me just continue with the same format. So underwriting condo, and then I'll make this reg and condo. And then if I scroll down, then I could find anywhere that there's condo, or I can make it self-employed. Actually, you know, let me, if you don't mind, let me rewind. So I could say income self-employed. And as here I am. So if I look for, I could ask for business tax returns, and notice on the right-hand side that now we're asking for a document placeholder. So I just unchecked it. So by checking, you can see I need these documents. So you could also start off with a blank slate on the document placeholder. And then as conditions are applied to the loan, now we have a document placeholder as well. So if I need the K1s, if I need personal tax returns, if I need profit and loss statement, if I need rental leases or tax transcripts, anything. So that's where I have for self-employed. As I click here, I'm adding new business logic. So I know FE0115 is for borrower 1 being self-employed, and the answer is yes. Okay, I could add another condition here, FE0215 is a co-borrower self-employed, and for here I'm hitting yes. And then if I wanted to, I could also add other attributes. I could say what state is it in or something in that regards. So here is and. If I double click and, it provides me with a drop-down menu, and then I could click or. Okay, so now I could say, is borrower 1 or borrower 2 or co-borrower self-employed? And if the answer is yes, then we're going to apply these conditions and have these document placeholders. And that's it. And then I just created my condition. So it's very intuitive on creating conditions. I could also say if it's an employee loan, if it's Texas, here I'll go through that. If it's Texas and cash out and the LTV is above a certain hurdle, then apply those conditions. I've had it where it's really branched out many, many times. So I could say Texas cash out, and under underwriting conditions. And then once again, I have preliminary underwriting post-closing. So I have different options. I have it as regular or automated, so I could select which one. And then from there, I could just scroll and figure out where the conditions are. So that, and more examples, 203K, it could be if it's a certain investor, then I want these conditions to happen, because maybe it's possible if the investor is, and I'm just making this up, but if the investor is Wells Fargo, maybe they're not going for 3 or 4 families. Maybe they're not going for investment properties or second homes or something in that regards, or foreign nationals. And so from that perspective, you could actually condition the loan based on just virtually anything. I've seen many environments that have adopted Ignite's solutions, and it's so well built out. And just like Encompass, it needs a little bit of attention and constant refinement. But there are ways to refine it so well that you're kind of 95% conditioning it through our solution, and then an underwriter kind of steps in the end.
Hey, Brad, we had a question.
Sure.
Do you have a standard set of data-driven conditions that can be implemented in your product out of the box when modified and then modified it as needed?
Sure. So one of the best benefits of Encompass is that it's very, very customizable. And by the way, thank you very much for that question, whoever asked it.
That would be Rob. Thank
okay. You. Hey, Rob. Great. Hopefully I'll see you in September. So the answer is with Encompass being customizable, we cannot just drop a set of conditions and rules. So these conditions right here are specific to Ignite's environment, and you might have a different naming convention than we do. So therefore we can't just drop them in. However, what we've just recently started to offer is that if you provide us with your list of conditions into a spreadsheet, then what we can do is provide our approach of, we would think if this, then that. If it's a streamline, ask for this. If it's not a streamline, don't ask for it. Perfect example that there's a possibility you could do a streamline without an appraisal. So I could say if loan program, which is field 1401, here, so here, just to kind of like move this forward. So if I say if 1401, which is a loan program, contains, but instead I'm going to say does not contain stream. Now that's a condition for anything that's not a streamline, which is, that's where I'm saying it's so nimble. If I don't know the field, I could use binoculars. And this also shows that I could use any field. Here's my scroll bar. It's massive. And the thing is that if I type in CX, which is the format for custom fields in the Compass, you could see all these custom fields that relate to Ignite's environment, but there's no way that I'm gonna have like this mishmash in my reporting database. So it's just more evidence that we could really use the 25 to 30,000 fields in your environment for our rule building. So this is our Ignite condition manager. These are the rules, how to set it up, and the rule building engine. And if I exit out of here, so what I've shown you is the automated method. So just by clicking save, it happens. Otherwise, we also respect that sometimes people wanted to have it in the underwriter's control, because there will take a few seconds for Ignite solution to go through the fields, doesn't meet the requirements, and then associate the certain conditions. So here I am. So this is our, and this is the beauty of Encompass, everything has to be a separate solution. But here's our timeline panel. It shows 0 conditions in the underwriting folder right now. So I can click on this drop down, ask for underwriting conditions. I'm going to receive a pop-up of basically, it's a little bit of a warning that we're going to remove any Ignite added conditions with the status added, and then reapply conditions. And I'll walk through that in just a second. So basically, when a condition's added, the most juvenile status is added, and then you have, and I'll show you, but then you can have fulfilled, received, cleared, waived. So what Ignite's approach is that let's start with everything is added status, and then say, for example, the loan starts as conventional, and then somebody wants to change it to FHA. By using this drop down, we'll rip out those old conditions, anything that hasn't been changed, and then we'll reapply conditions. So this way you don't have extra conditions for no reason, just kind of lying around. And notice how now I have 14 conditions in my E folder. So watch, I'll go into my E folder. I'm looking for underwriting conditions. And then here are my underwriting conditions. And if I open this up, it'll show that this was Ignite condition manager, versus if it was from a condition set, it'll show condition set. If it was manual, it'll show manual. And then here's the status added. So if I just open, I just randomly chose one, you can see that here's added, and that's the status I'm on. But if this is cleared, okay, it'll show cleared. If this other one is cleared as well, okay, so now I have 2 out of the 14. If I exit out of here, now I have 2 out of 14. If I was to reapply these conditions, I'm receiving that pop-up, the same pop-up that you saw beforehand, which is saying underwriting condition manager will remove conditions of select type with status is added. Would you like to proceed? If I hit yes, this will start dropping down, and it'll go down to 2, and then it'll start bouncing back up. So this way, any time, any attention that's been applied to certain conditions, we want to leave that. But anything that theoretically has not been worked on, then those are the conditions we'll take out and then reapply. So this is excellent, where we could monitor for FHA loans, USDA loans, VA loans, condo. If it's a condo, we need this. If it's a jumbo loan, we need that. If it's an employee loan, we need this. If the loan's greater than, let's say, 800,000, you need a second signature. The rules could go on and on and on. And you could have a base template, which is what I propose. So for an FHA loan, if it's an FHA loan using field 1172, and the loan's greater than $1, and the loan program does not contain Streamline, you can create, like, just apply those 14 conditions right out of the gate. And once again, it's nice that a loan officer can understand which documents they need to obtain right in the beginning. And this way it helps speed up the cycle time. And on top of that, you can go from loan officer, I'm not telling you to change your workflow, but I'm saying that you have the option to go from loan officer straight to underwriting, and then really utilize the processor of obtaining those documents. And that in itself might speed up times from 1 to 4 days, because allow the application to do the setup instead of the person. So that's the condition manager. And then here we are, back 2 out of 14 conditions. So if I exit out of here, so this is loan number, I guess, 70. Okay, so I'm going to exit out. Do I want to save? Yep. And then the other application I want to walk through is our auto role assignment. So we can assign any person, anytime, for any reason. And the solution there, what we're going to do is basically native to Encompass. It's really difficult to assign a branch manager to a loan file. At the same time, maybe you're curious to know for compliance of a pre-closed QC should really just happen for loans exceeding certain bandwidth. So if the LTV is above 90, if the DTI is above 45, if the FICO is below, let's say 660 or something in that regards, if the loan amount's really high. So it's let's focus on the 10% pre-closed QC on loans that you kind of care about in a higher manner as compared to that 15% LTV. I mean, that really isn't really necessary for going through looking at that loan. So unfortunately, Encompass is taking a little while. Encompass doesn't like Zoom or go-to meetings all that much, but I'm assuming it's going to bounce out of this pretty quickly. So in the end, here, I'll just open up another fresh instance while we're waiting. But the auto role assignment, the rule building works very similarly to our condition manager. So, and from that perspective, it is a bit of a hybrid. And Tony, is there a question coming up or no?
Yeah, I wanted to ask, so what is the loan information and the hyperlink, the feature that Ignite has? What is that?
This right here. So this is like one of my favorite tools and definitely one of our top 3 sellers. So this has basically hyperlinks, so it's specific to the user. And unfortunately, I just exited out of the loan, but here I'll go back in a second. So that was loan number 70, which is right here. You could see that that there's no processor assigned, this brand new. But since it's an FHA loan, that our application will pick this up. We have it on a 5-minute task scheduler. So so here I'll just bounce right back in to the loan, and I'll show you what it is.
Sorry,
but,
I was trying to catch you before you.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that.
Well, you had a minute.
So no, I appreciate that. So in the end, these are hyperlinks. So here, just to rewind real quick, here's the loan information panel. These are our settings. So all of your personas will be on the left side. If you want, so what you do is you click on the person. So like loan officer, which I have it right here. So for the loan officer, if you want to add a field, add a hyperlink, it's really that easy. I mean, add a field, you could just type in field, I don't know, 4181 comes to mind, just employee loans. Click that, hit select, and then it just pops up, which is right here. You could double click it and then rename if you want. So this way, if it shows 4181, then you could convert it to employee. But it's great where loan officers see the fields and the hyperlinks that speak to them. Capital market sees when does the loan really expire, what the lock really expire with the investor, or what's my true price versus what I'm publishing to the loan officer. So this is really, really helpful in so many ways. And then this is separately, it's kind of like sister. The loan metric panel will show you anything that dates have been accomplished, which is right here on the left, or anything not accomplished. And it's, again, really helpful just to get a nice snapshot and visual. But thank you, Tony. So in terms of the auto role assignment, so if I click here, we have the auto assignment rule building engine. Why has Ignite created all these user interfaces? Well, because Encompass is so customizable, so configurable. So I've been to enough conferences, and people keep saying customization costs money, and many times they're right, sometimes they're wrong. But the thing is that if we as an Ignite have the client in mind, we're creating these user interfaces to make the solution scalable. Maybe you're not doing VA loans today, but you will in the future. Great. Build more rules. Your Encompass admin becomes empowered with this versus having to say, Ignite, can you? And then you're waiting for us to make those changes, which, by the way, we're pretty quick in terms of customer service, but I'm just saying that we're empowering you and your environment to create this in any format that you want. So here we are. A few rules are already created. I'm a big believer of show the person first and then the rule type second. So here's like for FHA loans, you could, I've created that. So here, I'll just walk through creating a new rule. So if I say underwriting VA loans, right? Not all underwriters can underwrite VA loans. So I'll say VA loans in Florida and California. And here are the roles in Ignite's environment. If I click on the underwriter, I have 4 underwriters to choose from. I'll just click underwriter 1, underwriter 2. And then if I add a condition, so I'm going to add a value, say like I don't know the field. What I'm going to do is I'm going to say I need the submitted milestone to be complete before I add an underwriter. Otherwise, we're going to be adding underwriters at the beginning, like literally when the loan was just started, which doesn't make sense. So if I, in field ID, I type in submit, I found the milestone date submittal, hit select. Instead of equaling today, I'm going to say is not empty. And that's my first rule. My second rule is 1172, VA loan. Okay. My next rule is going to be field 14 is Florida. And my next and last rule is going to be field 14 for California. I can add a parentheses, okay, and then drop down Florida and California. And then I can say, instead of and, I'm going to make that an or. Like, how robust is this? Now I'm saying that it has to be submitted milestone, it has to be a VA loan, and then it could be in Florida or California. And that's, so you can go as granular as you want or as broad as you want. Once I hit okay, that's it. My rule has been complete. And the way our solution works is that it is underwriter 1, then underwriter 2, underwriter 1, underwriter 2. To go a step further, so now that rule has been complete, I can also manage my users. So here, by clicking on this user interface, which more than just your Encompass admin can manage. So these are all the users in our environment, and I can enable, disable. So if somebody's out sick, on vacation, maternity or paternity leave, then I could simply just click and now they're disabled. They come back from vacation, I click again, they're re-enabled. You don't have to worry about changing all these business rules, it just happens. On top of that, I have load balancing. So here's underwriter 1 and 2. Say like this person is a rock star and this person's new to the company or maybe new to the business or just promoted from a processor to an underwriter, and you want to give them 2. So now I have underwriter 1, underwriter 2, underwriter 1, underwriter 2, and then for the remainder of the day, I have underwriter 1 until they reach their cap of 6. And say for, and so what happens instead of 6 plus 2 is 8. So what if I have 9 or 10 loans? So then I would have 2 loans in the queue waiting to be assigned, where the underwriting manager can manually assign them or wait till the next morning, and then basically everybody starts off with a clean slate, and then you can just start assigning it from there. My whole thing about the auto roll, if you talk to anybody that's using Encompass, their most expensive, most seasoned people are managing the queues, which means that 25 to 30% of their day is just assigning loan files. When, let's say, I'll say if Ignite solution can solve for 95% of loan file dissemination, then isn't that a huge win? Because now your most experienced people can be working on loan files, difficult loans, instead of just saying, all right, I have a VA loan and I could go to one of these 2 people, let me look at their queue. So I'm not saying that we're going to solve 100%. Can we? Probably we can. But at the same time, even if it's 90, 95%, I think that's a huge win for your environment. So here's the load balancing. Here's enable, disable. And then the last column all the way on the right is the person a manager, yes or no? So by clicking yes to make it true versus false, now this manager has access to this user interface. So beforehand, it was the Encompass admin would be managing all of this plus the rules, a little bit too much on their plate. So instead, now we have the manager to work here, manage the daily loan limits, manage the enable, disable. And it's really widely adopted, and it's pretty great. So here, let me exit out of this loan because we have a task scheduler that works every 5 minutes. So, and I'm looking at the clock, it's 3:29. So this is an FHA loan right here. And by hitting refresh, I'm looking for our application to process it. And let's see, it should be happening relatively soon. And then we would be assigning a processor to the loan. Okay, and that's it in a nutshell. So I'm looking at these 2 solutions as one is conditioning the loan and the other one is assigning the loan. And that in itself is going to make your environment just so much more like well-rounded and refined. Um, and uh, and getting back into the specifics, you get branch managers, loan officers. You could have a queue for employee loans should only go to these specific people. You could say streamlines should only go to these people. Day one certainty, maximize the loan programs. So this way, those applications really go towards that fast track desk. I hear stories of underwriters waking up at 5:30 in the morning, not to go to the gym, but to gobble up those streamlined loans. So this way, at the end of the month, they could say that they did 45 loans when maybe 15, 20 of those are streamlined loans. So all of that kind of like drama, so to speak, can be pushed to the side. So now it becomes the application that's assigning people. Portfolio loans, self-employed loans could only go to certain people that are more competent to handle tax returns, versus overwhelming somebody that's not familiar with it. So with that, let me open it up to questions if there are any, and I really appreciate everybody's time.
Thank you, Brad. Those are very cool gadgets, very cool solutions that you have. Any other gadgets coming down the pipe?
Let's see. So we're always working on the future. You have to, especially in technology, you have to be kind of at the forefront, right? So one issue that we heard back in like November, December, we heard from out of nowhere within like just a few weeks, we heard from like 2, 3 companies that said that alerts were not firing because people were not jumping into the loan. So what kind of alerts? So say like the lock was going to expire in 2 days, 3 days, but the only way to get that alert to fire is by somebody going into the loan and updating that like last modified date. So we created a solution which has similar user interface, nice and intuitive, easy to use. You don't need VB language, coding skills, and oh, speaking of, so our solution, the Ignite solution, is way more intuitive than well. So anyways, I'll just leave it at that. That our solution is incredibly intuitive. That you do not need that much Encompass knowledge or VB skills to make the automated conditions happen. So so in terms of the pipeline refresh, it set up certain rules. If the lock days count is less than 3, then open up that loan. So you might have 300 loans, you might have 3,000 loans. And in the end, the application is going to target those loans, open them up. So this way, those alerts do get sent. Similarly, we've seen many companies that are using like a custom calculation. How many days has that loan been sitting with the processor, with the underwriter? And you need to open up that loan file in order for the days to keep tabulating. So if you're using something like that, we could have the entire My Pipeline just open, refresh, so this way those calculations can be worked upon. So you could target, once again, you could go like really finite or you could go broad. So that's one thing. And then the other part is Ignite has just been accepted to Jack Henry's VIP program. Yes, thank you. That's been like 2 years working on that. So that's the vendor integration program. So Ignite has been working very diligently on helping out with core banking integrations. We know Encompass really well. We know how to build the hard stops. We know how to force people to add information. So this way, when you have a fully built up file, you have the right data points going out to the core system versus having somebody just kind of like curating the data after it goes to the core system. So we're working a lot with Jack Henry and also with Fiserv, and we're doing a little bit with FIS. But that's, I'll say those are the 2 really exciting things that we're doing so far right now.
Oh, that's great. Excellent. Looks like, what does the Jack Henry integration do, and what is the use case?
So so basically, Jack Henry is the core system, right? So you have the mortgage side, and then you have the bank side, and the bank obviously is controlling the money. So when you're funding a loan, we could have it either automatically, or we could have it with a click of a button, which most environments are looking for a click of a button. So this way, by clicking the button, that wakes up our application. If you need, I've seen the range of 70 to 250 data points will be picked up and then transmitted to the core system. So this way now the bank has the profile of the loan. We could also help out with on the servicing side. We could also help out with the document depository. So Jack Henry has something called Synergy. That's where the documents are housed. And Scimitars for the data. Synergy, let's see, so they have a lot of different products that we can integrate with. So it could be for leads for the CRM, and it could be for documents or data. And this way you could kind of call the wire with the core system.
Excellent. Thank you. That's exciting.
It is.
Always right out there in front.
well, it's nice to have two systems that match, right? Because there's nothing more cumbersome when you have Encompass with the mortgage knowledge, but then you have the bank system that's waiting for the mortgage knowledge. So for us to integrate the two, now the core system should be the core data depository, but at the same time, instead, we're trying to make Encompass the core system, and then feed into other vendor technologies such as the core.
Does the product integrate with the Jack Henry data warehouse?
So for us, we're using, I'll say personally, I haven't heard about the Jack Henry data warehouse. That I've heard more of Scimitar, I've heard of Synergy, and Synopsys is their CRM. So we've worked with those three, but at the same time, I mean, that's all within 8 months. So we're really ramping up. We have multiple clients already, which is fantastic. And for us, our core competencies, I mean, our full name is Ignite Integration Solutions. So we're constantly creating web services, API calls. We're incredibly familiar and we're able to read API manuals and develop the solutions that you're looking for. So even though I'm not familiar with it, I'm very confident that we could create the solution for you. And we do have an Encompass data warehouse solution. So if that might be one and the same.
Okay, excellent. That was Rob.
Thanks, Rob.
So Rob, if you want to follow up with Brad, or he can reach out to you afterwards, and you guys can get together and talk about that integration. Thank you very much for the excellent questions. So I have one more question. If you've got any other questions, please feel free to drop them in the chat. We've got about looks like about 5 more minutes. And my last question is, so TMC members, do they get a discount with Ignite?
Yes, that's a good question. So Ignite's been a member with TMC, I think, from the beginning.
Very beginning.
And
yes.
the short answer is yes, there is a discount. If you are a TMC member, TMC members will receive discounts. And at the same time, we're here to help out. And TMC has been a phenomenal organization for people on this call that are not TMC members. I'll say I'm a major advocate. It's a great platform. People collaborate. They truly do. And they talk about it's amazing how open the conferences are, which TMC has a conference in September. And I'll say of all the organizations that I've been to, all the conferences I've been to, I'll say that no doubt my favorite, unquestionably, is TMC. So yes, short answer is yes, TMC members do receive discounts. And we also help out with bundled pricing.
Thank you so very much. And thank you for that shout out. Yes, we do have TMC Reunited. It is September the 18th through the 21st at Terranea Resorts. And please feel free to check us out on the website. And we would love to have you guys join us. Very, very much appreciate everyone's time today. Brad, as always, thank you so much for bringing your automation to the TMC Connect and showing all of the incredible different ways that you can make people's lives much easier with less clicks. And really do appreciate it. As I mentioned before, this was recorded, and you will receive a follow-up email tomorrow with the recording link and Brad's contact information. So if you guys want to reach out to Brad, please feel free to do so. And thank you very much again. Everyone have a great week.
Thank you very much. Thanks everybody for attending. Thanks, Tony.
Thank you. Bye-bye.